Hi friends, let us continue to explore some of the sketch tools within Solidworks. In this tutorial, we'll be taking a look at the arc, ellipse, arc slot, polygon and the fillet commands. Okay, let's get started. If you want to create an arc between 2 points or 3 points within your sketch, then the arc command should be used. So what are the different types of arcs that you can create? Is the center point arc, tangent arc and the 3-point arc. Alright, what is center point arc? If you know the center of the arc and the radius, then you can go for center of the center point arc. So if you can see here, as usual, we'll be using the prompt that is being shown here. So first is the center, then is the point 2 and point 3, which is, so this command is primarily used when you just want to draw a small sector of a whole circle, so you just specify the center, maybe point 1, and then you can just go along this curve and just place your point 3 here somewhere. So you have a small sector of a big circle. So this option is used when you know the center point and the radius of the arc. So what is a tangent arc? So let us say that you have a line like this. Okay, you want to draw, let it escape. If you want to draw an arc to which this line is a tangent. So if you want to draw an arc to which this line is a tangent, then you'll go for tangent arc and then specify this point and then another point, any other point, maybe like this, let's say. Yeah, if I can, yeah, this way, this should explain it clearly. If I can draw like this and hit escape, see now this line and this arc, this line is going to be a tangent to this arc, that is shown by the constraint here. Now it says it is a tangent, so this is a tangent arc. In most of the cases, we will neither be knowing the center nor will we be knowing the radius. In most of the sketches, we will neither be knowing the center nor will be knowing the radius, like this case. All that we will be knowing is like 3 points through which we need an arc. In that case, we can go for a 3-point arc. For example, let us say that you want an arc between this point and our origin. So this is going to be an arc of a very irregular shape where we will neither be knowing the center nor the radius. In that case, we will be using the 3-point arc. Select 3-point arc, and as it is shown in this prompt here, we will be specifying point 1, point 2 and the point 3. As in our case, this is going to be point 1. Let us say this is going to be your point 2 and this is going to be the point 3. There you go. So now you have an arc passing through point 1, point 2 and point 3. Play around by selecting the orientation in a different way. Try selecting this as point 1, this as point 2 and this as point 3. It will be interesting. Alright. So these three are the options under arc command. Let me just clear the screen. And now let us explore Now let us take a look at the ellipse command. Ellipse, as the name suggests, all that we need to do to create an ellipse is to specify the center point, the x distance and the y distance. Before that, let us see what are the types of ellipse that can be created. Ellipse, partial ellipse, parabola and conic. Conic is a very new feature that has been added after SolidWorks 13, and we'll be taking a look at it in a few moments. So if I hit ellipse, I need to specify the center of the ellipse, the x distance and then the y distance. There you go. So you have something like an ellipse now. You can see the parameters here. So I can select my center here, x and y. For example, if I increase x, this is moving in x, this is moving in y, and then this is going to specify my major axis and the minor axis. That is what I probably meant by x and y distance. So this is going to be the length of my major axis, so I can increase it, and I can also increase the length of my minor axis. So this is how a simple ellipse can be created. Now, just like we took a look at the center point arc, where it was used to draw a partial arc, that is a small arc of a big circle, we can also use an option called partial ellipse, where you will be drawing a small sector of the whole ellipse. Let us see how that works now. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go to partial ellipse, and then just like we create a simple ellipse, I'll select the center point, maybe the major axis, then the minor axis, and now I can trace my mouse pointer along the sector. Let us say I just need it for maybe this sector, right? This option is pretty cool because it allows you to draw a very small portion of a big ellipse. You can specify the dimensions by using Smart Dimension tool. This is my minor axis. I can say this is maybe 30, and then I can even specify my major axis. I can say this is going to be 60, for example, right? All right. So this is the way you create a partial ellipse. So let me just delete this. Yes. So if you can see here, I'm having an error message saying, not an error message, it's like a warning saying you have not saved your document for more than 20 minutes now. Generally what happens is like Solidworks keeps prompting you to save your documents. You can just ignore it by clicking close, that's fine. Then we'll be taking a look at the parabola option. So for the parabola, we need to specify the center and the distance of the base, like this, and you can even incline the parabola to some angle. To make it interesting, let me just tilt it to this angle, and once you specify the distance here, then you need to go back to the start point or anywhere in between also, that's fine. You can just need to start tracing along this line. So, and you can even extend it maybe on this side this way. This option is actually a mixture of both complete parabola as well as partial parabola, because you can start sketching from anywhere along that line, right? So you can even draw a partial parabola or a whole parabola. So both the options are actually covered within the same command, parabola. Now let us see how to use conic command. This command is a bit interesting. So let me just draw two arcs, two 3-point arcs here, maybe here, and let me say something like this, and let me say my second somewhere like this. Yeah. But just in case I want to have a curve between these two curves, between these 2 points, then I can go to conics. There you go, conic. Make sure that the auto tangency option is not ticked. I'll tell you the reason in a few minutes. So all that you need to do is to select the 2 edges, like 2 points, and then now if you can see here, you need to specify the 2 points. So there is point 1 here and then point 1 on the yellow line. These 2 points are different. The first point, which is close to my pencil, is actually the point where the tangents to both the curves actually meet, right? So I can just place it here, and then I need to specify my rho value. What this rho value means is it is the parameter which controls the distance of the conic from this point, which is the point that we have already specified is the point where the tangent to both these curves actually meet, right? So if I just place it here, I have my conic here. Just in case I want to change my rho value after I have drawn the conic, if you go to Smart Dimension and select this conic, it automatically prompts me for the rho value. So if I say rho is about 0.8, see what happens. It comes closer to the point that we have defined earlier. So this point here is the point where the tangent to both these lines actually meet. And then this point, which is the point which lies on the conic, is going to be at a parameter rho from this point, that is controlled by the value rho, right? I hope this is clear. So let me just delete it so that I can explain you the slot options. The slot options are one of the most rarely used features within the sketch command. Primarily it is used in the cases where you are going to draw key slots, maybe if you have a shaft and on top of it you're going to have a key slot, then this command is going to come in pretty handy. We'll just take a quick look at it. So the first straight slot, if you can see here, you need to specify, the centers and the radius of the arc. For example, once I draw it, it will be clear. Center 1, center to center distance, and then the radius of the slot. Correct? So I can just change the dimension here. Maybe I can make it 100 for you. And then if I change the radius, there you go. Radius, I can say it is about 15, let's say. So that is how you edit the dimensions of the slot. The way you use the slot command is similar to the rectangle command, and then the center point straight slot is similar to the center rectangle, right? We'll use it like center point straight slot. So this is going to be the center, and see, on either sides midpoint is actually growing, and then I can draw my slot. So what I have is the center point. For example, I have a slot keyway for which the origin is the center point. So I can just draw something along the origin for a distance, and then I can draw it. So this is the use of center point key slot. Similar to the 3-point rectangle, corner rectangle, we also have the 3-point arc slot where you can have it on a curved surface, for example, and on an inclined line. So this is going to be my arc, right? I can just, it's similar to a 3-point arc. I can just specify here, and then my slot is this way. Dimensions are going to be arc radius of this, let us say this is about 85, and then the radius of this slot. So let us make it 15. This is how you change the dimension. The last option will be a center point arc slot. So this was a 3-point arc slot. So let us assume we know the center of the arc, and then the radius, and a small sector, a very small sector. Let us say it's just this big. Then we can specify the dimension, right? I hope the center point, I hope the arc slot options are pretty easy to handle and that you have understood. So let me just delete them. Now let us see how to use the polygon command. So if you hit polygon and if you specify the number of sides here, you will get a polygon. So if by default it is 6, so it is going to be a hexagon. So if I hit the center and see, I'm going to have a hexagon here. I can either specify the radius of the incircle, which in this case, let me say it is about 75. Then the length of my size of my polygon is going to change, or I can even specify. I can even change the length of the sides. Yeah, as I expected, it is going to say it is going to over dimension it because we have already specified the dimension. What do you call this? The diameter of the incircle. So how do we change it? So I'll just delete this dimension. So just delete this dimension here. Now I can specify the length of the edges. So I can now make it 50, let's say. It's just the same thing. You can either change the dimension of the edge or you can change the dimension of the incircle. It's up to you. If you change the number of sides, for example, if I make it 5, I will get a pentagon, right? There you go. Pentagon. It is again bound by a circle inside within the edges, a circle to which all these edges are basically a tangent. That is how it works. You can either change the diameter of the circle, or you can change the length of the edges. See, you can see that the smart dimension is really smart because it gives you all the kinds of dimensions possible. Vertical distance between the 2 points, the horizontal distance of the actual edge, which is this one. This is the actual horizontal dimension, right? So I'll make it 35 and see what happens. So it's going to change. So this is how polygons are being created. Last option in this is going to be the fillet. So for example, I'm going to have a rectangle. I assume that you will be knowing rectangle to create a rectangle by now. So you have a rectangle. And just in case you want to have a fillet for these edges, go to fillet and then entities to fillet will be this edge, and then the radius of fillet is specified here. So I can change the radius. Maybe I'll just use the arrow button. So see, as I increase the radius, my fillet radius increases, and then my fillet will also change. There you go. So it's a 20 mm radius. So just in case you want to change it after you have come out of it, either you can double click this fillet so that you go to fillet option, and here it prompts you to change the radius. You can make it maybe 15. Yeah. Change 15, or you can even change it here. This is also possible. Yeah, it has actually changed. It's taking a little time actually. Just double click this and you can make it maybe 13. This is how you change the dimensions of the fillet. In the next video tutorial, we'll be taking a complete look at the spline command. This is going to be really important because splines will be used in many of the cases where we really don't know the geometry, we don't know the dimensions of a line, a curve or something like that. In those cases, we'll be using the spline command. Thanks for watching.